Tell me what happened yesterday morning.
I was in my room at like 6:30 in the morning, and I heard it sounded like a car hitting another car. So I came outside because my car parks out here. So I came out, I looked out my window, and I seen a kid running, and then I walked outside, and I didn't see any car crashes, but I seen the kid standing over a body, or another guy, I should say. And so I walked out here to make sure that the guy had called 911, the kid, and he was on the phone with the 911. And I just sat out there with him until the ambulance came. The kid talked to the ambulance. I sat there and talked to, well, his name's Steven, but I talked to Steven and just kept telling him to hold on. The ambulance was coming. He wasn't talking, but he was moving his eyes and his head, but he was bleeding. He had his helmet on. He had full gear, biking gear and stuff like that. So, but he wasn't. He wasn't able to move until he heard the ambulance, and he tried to roll over and get up. And then it was the fastest I've ever seen an ambulance take somebody. They had him off the ground and gone within probably 5 to 10 minutes.
So you heard the impact. You comforted him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I sat on the floor or on the ground with him until the ambulance came. And there was another kid. He was the one that called 911. But he stayed on the phone with the 911, the first responders, whatever you call them, the whole time. And why I sat on the ground with Steven. He was Hamilton County prosecutor. He's got his own law firm and everything. He's only 55 years old. Yeah.
I'm glad you were with him and comforted him.
Yeah, I am glad too. I just wish because you don't know that that's going to be their last, I don't know. And then everybody keeps coming over here, and it's just sad, dude, that it happened.
Can you show me where he was?
Right in front of that red truck right there. He wasn't in the middle of the street, but he was about 2 feet out into the street.
Was it dark out?
Yeah, it was still dark.
Yeah.
You guys both knew Steve Adams, right?
Yes.
Knew of him. I didn't know him personally.
Okay.
And he was a cycling friend of mine, but Steve's a known quantity around town, Ironman triathlete, well known in the cycling community. As a matter of fact, within the last, I think, 4 to 6 weeks, he had been tuning his bike up at a local bike shop, BioWheels, and was looking to kind of get back to his Ironman training days, or at least getting back out on the road. And this tragically occurs within a month or two of that.
Yeah, hit and run, the person doesn't even stop. How horrifying.
It's an epidemic. It really is. I have a Google alert to hit every time there's a hit and run involving a cyclist, and it pings 10, 12 times a day around the country. Cyclists and pedestrians are typically the most vulnerable users of the road. Like standing here now, we're sort of at risk, but they're also a proportionately higher percentage of hit and runs involve pedestrians and cyclists. So it's definitely an epidemic.
Oh,
That's a good question. Just trying to take a look at the site and yeah. For me, I have this, I call my Ohio Fatal Crash Project. I look at every fatal bike crash in Ohio, and I try to do it in real time. So as soon as we hear about one, we reach out to the law enforcement, try to get the crash report, the initial report. It usually takes in a fatal crash, 6 to 8 weeks to get everything done. So we try to get all the video, the body cam, the cruiser cam, the photos, forensics, crash reconstruction. We put it all together and we gather these up for all the fatal bike crashes in Ohio each year, and then look at them individually. And I try to look, from my perspective, try to assess as a cyclist, an advocate, as a trial lawyer with 35 plus years, and then we try to see if the cops got it right and see if they investigated thoroughly, see if we think they came up with the right answer. Did they blame the parties, or how did they do that? So we try to look at each one, and we also look for lessons that for cycling and for maybe changes or risks to cyclists in the future as well.
Chris, what can you tell us about Steve?
Oh, Steve was a hardworking guy. He took his Ironman triathlon training right to his law practice, and to a person they would talk about what a consummate professional he was. Hardworking guy, did a great job for his clients, but was always very respectful of his adversaries and well regarded by the Cincinnati bar.
Okay, so but very disheartening, a hit and run, with anybody, but a hit and run on a cycling thing.
It hits you harder even when it's someone he's doing everything right. I mean, he's not out dancing around the streets, weaving in and out of traffic and all that. He's geared up. He's got lights. He knows what he's doing, and that sometimes that doesn't prevent the crash, and then to have the person just leave. I mean, it turns him in from maybe an accident into a real felony, and so we're hoping they can track down the person that hit him.